Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, this is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Annual Calendar. The reference is 25920 ST and then some. It was produced for a very short few years, starting in 1999, so 3 years after Patek Philippe introduced this annual calendar complication. I suppose Audemars Piguet wanted to have their own, and it's a bit of a paradox as, well, it comes in a royal oak, as of course Patek Philippe wanted to have their own royal oak and followed up with their Nautilus. And here Audemars Piguet followed suit and didn't produce it for many years. I would say 2-3 years maybe. If you look on Chrono 24, you can see they're all numbered, and I haven't found one beyond the number 300, but maybe there is more than that. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't more than 500-600 of these. I see some of those have been sold all the way up to 2006, but might have been produced years before that. Why was it discontinued? Maybe you can chime in if you know the reason. It could be that there was an upcharge and it wasn't popular with the customers. Could be that the layout, a bit quirky, wasn't popular either. Could be that behind the scenes, Patek had some patent on the innovation of the annual calendar, and you know, as sometimes it's done, they just told the competitor to cease and desist to avoid any legal action. They would maybe let them finish the run, and that's about it. Or maybe it was just the production cost of the movement. So the movement, at its origin, it's GLC, what is it, 889 or 988, you know, I kind of forget the number. Without the date, without the central seconds, so it's the base that I think is referenced at AP as the 2224, and then slash, I think it's 2814 for this complication. They also use the same base for the star wheel complication, for example. And here what we have, so the annual calendar with a radial date and a radial month. You have all the hallmarks of the royal oak, of course, the shape, the iconic shape, so eye-catching, the brushing. As you can see, the condition looks fantastic. Again, if you're a specialist, if you can tell that this has been refinished, let me know. To me, it looks fully original in top condition, which is why I had to have it, and the price really made sense to me for such a rare watch and well-loved model. So the brushing, the polishing, the construction with the bolts at the top and the screws holding them at the back, and you can see the gasket appearing there in between the bezel and the mid case. Have the beautiful polishing there on the outline of the bracelet, iconic bracelet, very smooth. The first link is integrated, of course, to the case. As you can see, it doesn't quite angle down, so wears surprisingly ideal, I would say, on my 17-centimeter flat wrist, although the watch is only 36 millimeter in diameter, which back then in '99 was the preferred size for in the market, and then they moved on to 39. I was very tempted, and I should have bought the dual time in 39. I had a chance to buy a blue dial at some $25,000, which back then seemed like a lot. Now it seemed cheap. And then, of course, they moved with the 15400 at 41, but I really like the 15300. Again, I was tempted to buy one not long ago, but it was quite beat up. 15300 is great because you have the display case back. 39mm, just perfect for me, I think. But even 39 feels a bit big in an integrated bracelet look. And as you can see, as you might have seen on my first pictures on Instagram, this from the front is just about perfect. What makes it a bit more, I wouldn't say feminine, but maybe a great modern unisex option. And by the way, you have a little slider there to close and open with quirky the bracelet. The tapering is very slim, but after all, 36 is coming back into fashion, and this is mainly a bracelet that happens to have a watch attached to it. I think that's the way you see it. So yeah, from the front wears just about perfect. Yeah, it's kind of slim, a bit like the Black Bay 54, but that's coming back into fashion. And yeah, very slim here. Yeah, I think if it tapered a little bit less, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters, would feel a bit more modern. But there you go. That's how the fashion was in '99 and late '90s. I love that period. There was so many great watches from Jaeger-LeCoultre, IWC, and they were really sweating, I think, the details. So yeah, you slide it, it opens, simple deployant. I'll probably add one more link on this side and one less here to have the deployant a bit more to this side of the wrist. I think it will be just perfect. And of course on the dial you have the Grande Tapisserie, and it's a blue dial, which is everyone's favorite. Before we get there, I can have a quick look at the screwed down crown, but you have the two little dimples to adjust the calendar. So one will add water resistance. These will probably remove some. I'm not sure how water resistant it is, maybe 50 meter. And by the way, the name is Quantième Annuel. It's in French. Let's have a quick one more look at the at this side of the watch. It's a shame to have any fingerprint on this watch, especially for video. Now, what's quirky with this dial, beyond the classic tapisserie, and let's zoom in on it, it's done with a rose-laid engine, the old-fashioned way. So it's the little almost imperfections that make it perfect and stand out. You'll notice that the hands and the indices are rounded instead of sticks. The date is a radial, slightly different blue than the dial itself, and no matter where the hands are, hour and minutes, you can always see it because it reaches the outskirt of the dial. The Reo is mirrored. Very interesting, the month indication here at a strange position on the dial. The months in 31 days are in red, and the 31st day is also in red, which is very quirky. And you will notice maybe that these watches have the month in French. Many months, especially the later months, are very similar to the English writing, but February in French is février, so you have a Fèv, March. April is Avril, so AVR. What's interesting is that the June and July in French both start with JU and I. So to circumvent that problem, they use the third letter, the N and the L. In that case, August is août in French, so A-O-U-T, so A-O-U. The later months are similar to the English, so very cool. And so this is annual calendar. You only need to adjust it on the 1st of March when you wake up. 3 out of 4 years it will be on the 29th, so you have to move it to the 1st. And on the leap year, it will have moved to the 30th after the 29th, and you have to move it to the 1st. It really irritates me when people say that you have to adjust annual calendar on at the end of February. You're not. You're adjusting it on the 1st of March, really. So you have the side dimples here to adjust the calendar. A couple more quirky features. You will notice that there are no minute markers between each 5-minute indices. So setting the time is best done every 5 minutes, and also the movement will hack. So that's helping to set the time accurately. So the reading of the time without those intermediate minute markers will have to be eyeballed. I think it's not too complicated. Also, of course, you will have noticed, as I mentioned, there is no seconds hand, so the dial is pretty dead and you don't really know if the watch is running or not. You just have to hope that it is and that you won't be late for your next meeting. That's about it for the dial. What's cool is that the that red hand for the date is also red all around, so it's really a bit of a quirky dial, very cool. And yeah, overall condition fantastic. Only thing I noticed is that this screw is slightly higher than the other screws. I'm not gonna really risk putting a screwdriver to this screw myself, but maybe I'll have it addressed. For the rest, yeah, again, if it has been refinished, it has been really professionally done because it looks like new. Let me show you the crown. It is screwed down. There you go, it pops. You can wind. Very smooth. And only one position. And there you go. So this is, we are in the afternoon. As you can see, it didn't switch at midnight. You can screw it back down. Sometimes I like to screw the other way a little bit just to catch the thread. It is not easy to screw back, so luckily this watch is automatic. Although I'm really being careful. I've heard about those sometimes crown problems with the AP. It's automatic, but yet very, very slim. You can see a little bit of wear to the watch, but not too much. I'm probably going to put more wear in 1 week wearing this watch. And so the side dimples, typically I don't take any metal to those. Will adjust. And it's the first time I do it, just for you. I just got the watch, so let's see. Top one, do you think it's going to adjust the date or the month? Let me have a look. It adjusts the date. There you go. So the other one will adjust the month, and now we've switched to the month of August. So hey, why not circle all the way, taking our time, pushing all the way in. Don't think you ever see that. There's very few videos. Now let's see, August to September, 31st, boom, September. Okay, I know what you want. You want to see a month. I actually want to see it as well. A month that ends in 30 days, so September in black there. Let's see, at 30, what will happen? At 30, it should switch to the first. There you go. It works perfectly. So today is the 19th. So let's put the hand there. Actually, I put it to the 18th because I've gone past the hour. I don't want to turn it back. And the other pusher will adjust. Yeah, as you can guess, the month. Very smooth, barely a feel to this pusher. There you go. I hope I didn't make anybody cringe with the way I'm torturing this watch. So there you go. This is the first look at this very playful, beautiful Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Annuel Calendar, Quantième Annuel. Let me know in the comments what you think of it, if it's a watch you have considered. I think prices are still quite reasonable for something that's fairly rare. What might make it less attractive is the tapering, fairly slim, but at the same time it comes back into fashion. So this is really a great collectible, and I guess for me it's a bit of a sideways backdoor entry into Royal Oak ownership. To be honest, I've never even stepped into a Royal Oak shop because I know that it won't be a pleasant discussion. I've heard the feedbacks. You know, if I want to buy one AP, it will be the Royal Oak. I don't want to have to buy another watch to get it. But feel free to prove me wrong, Audemars Piguet. I'd love to have a 38mm chronograph or 39mm 16202 for example. But this is, I think, a very, in a way, a very interesting way to get into AP ownership. And yes, I can now partake into the inoffensive, well, maybe offensive, but the slight douchebaggery, the harmless, I wanted to say, the harmless douchebaggery that is associated with the brand, with Royal Oak. Same thing with ownership of the Audi cars, and I used to have one and I loved it, and if I have to buy another car, it will be that. So yeah, I get to partake in a bit of that silly club, but I have to admit, it does something to you to own one of these, to handle one of these. Although we talk about it, we hear about it a lot. It's one of those things that are part of the of our world, you know, like the moon and the sun, the oceans, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, eating eggs in the morning. The Royal Oak, it feels like it had to be there. If it wasn't there, it would be a strange world. And it's great to be finally owning one of these, enjoying it, and see a bit how it feels. It was the same for me when I got my first Rolex. I kind of felt like I got into this club, and changes a bit my conversation and my outlook on the brand. So we'll see. I hope it's gonna run well. For now, everything seems to be tip-top, ready to enjoy. Let me know what you think about the watch. I hope this video was interesting because there's very few videos about it, and especially not in English. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. And most of you watching this are not subscribed, so it would be great if you could subscribe. It would really help. And maybe give the video a like, at least if it was not too boring. Bye bye.